Picking stocks that return a favorable amount year after year consistently is a very tough thing to do, and most people fail. If you know me and have been watching this channel for any period of time, you know that I prefer ETFs and recommend that for the base of most people's portfolio. But for today's video, I'm going to talk about individual company stocks, and I'm going to give you my #1 company stock. If I had to pick just one stock forever to buy and hold, this would be the one. And my name's Nolan Govea, and I'm a university professor. I made this channel to make investing simplified, and by picking just one stock forever, that makes things quite simple. So, when looking at individual stocks, you can't just simply look at which one has had the biggest growth in the past year or two. Some stocks have different advantages and things that you need to consider when making this decision. So for this video, I'm going to be giving you 2 of my top stocks within each of these categories. And then by the end, I'm going to dwindle it down to my top choice. But the bonus of this video is that you don't actually have to only pick one stock. So I'm going to be giving you 6 of my top picks. The first category is going to be one that's super popular right now, especially here on YouTube, and that's the dividend stock. These types of stocks are awesome because they shouldn't just only increase in share price, but they also should be paying out a dividend that's sizable enough to give you some cash flow to live off of, like passive income. The only con with these types of stocks is that if you hold them in a brokerage account, you do have to pay taxes on those dividends, even if you're reinvesting the dividend right back into the stock. But still, these are super favorable stocks. The next category is going to be one that provides a mild dividend, but should increase in share price much more than those regular dividend type stocks. While the dividend stocks in the first category might give out something like 2.5 to 6 or 7% dividend yield, these stocks might be something more like 0.5 to 2%, or something on the lower end as far as dividend, but like I said, their share price or the stock price itself should grow faster. Then the last category is going to be one where it pays 0 dividend, but the appreciation on the actual stock should just go through the roof. These stocks are really good and really strong for your taxes because even though your net worth is technically increasing, you're not actually realizing those gains and you're not getting a dividend, so you don't have to pay any taxes on any of that gain until you sell. So first, let's start with the last category that I just introduced, and that's the pure appreciation stocks. Right now in 2023, there's so many good candidates for this category. These would be something like Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, and Meta. All of these companies have had years where they blasted off into space with returns like crazy. Now, many who have watched my channel are going to be surprised by this first pick because I've actually talked about this company in a negative sentiment when I've talked about it before, but I just can't deny the possibility of what this company could do, and this company is Tesla. And these numbers are kind of insane. Tesla has a market cap of $816.39 billion. The PE ratio is quite high at 76.71. The current price for this stock is $260.54. Year to date, it's up 141%. For the last 5 years, it's up 1,071%. Those numbers are crazy. Now, admittedly, Tesla is one that I think is a little bit overrated and very much overvalued as far as just looking at the numbers. Traditionally, a PE ratio over 20 and definitely over 25 is a bit expensive, so this one being over 75 makes it quite expensive in my mind. But when you factor in the qualitative and intangible aspects of what this company has to offer, it's very hard not to want to have a little piece of this pie. Tesla is obviously one of the most popular automobile brands on the planet and definitely the most innovative. The cars really are amazing, and that is only a small piece of the entire company. The biggest thing that they have going for them is the charging network, and it was already big when they were only allowing Tesla cars to use it. Now that Elon Musk is forming partnerships with the largest other automobile manufacturers to allow them access to the charging network as well, he's just cornering that market and creating a monopoly. He's also brought the price down so far on the Tesla cars, making it affordable for many and making it incredibly tough for other car companies to compete, since they knowingly will need to sell their cars at a loss of profit for many years. I can definitely see this company continuing to skyrocket, and so even though it's a little bit overvalued and overpriced in my mind, I think with the price continuing to go up, it just kind of makes sense. Now for the second stock in this category, I could definitely go along with that same logic and be going for a company that is very technologically advanced, provides convenience for customers, and has amazing competitive advantage within their industry. Something like Amazon or Google could for sure fit here, but I went a different route. My second stock for this category is run by one of the best investors of all time, one of the best leaders of all time, and one of the best business minds in general of all time, Warren Buffett. And so this company is Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway holds a diversified basket of companies in dependable industries. The company's massive cash pile is an additional safety net. Over 5 decades, Buffett has bought about 60 businesses from a host of sectors and industries, including energy, insurance, transports, and retail. These buyouts include well-known companies like insurer Geico and railroad operator BNSF. The PE ratio is nice and low at 23.38. The current price is $338.31. Year to date, they're up over 9%, and for the last 5 years, they're up 79%, beating the S&P 500, which is only up 60% in that time period. And the market cap is $739.86 billion. Remember that the idea for this video is to buy and hold one stock forever. Some of those other picks might have been way more exciting, but they're way too reliant on just technology. And when a company is just purely technology, all a different company has to do is have better technology for a couple of years, and that will render the company obsolete. Now moving on to the next category, and that's that category in the middle, where it has a little bit of a dividend, also has a good amount of share price appreciation. These would be considered high growth, low dividend stocks, and they're some of my favorite types of stocks for sure. A couple very solid company stock that belong in this category but that I didn't pick would be Costco, Visa, and Dollar General. For this category, the 2 picks that I will be picking are companies that you definitely know and are probably already investing in, because they're some of the best companies on the planet. So the first pick in this category is definitely not a tough pick at all. This is literally the biggest company in the world by market cap, as it is valued at almost $3 trillion. This company is Apple, AAPL. The reason why I choose Apple is because I believe it is here for a very, very long time to stay. It's more than just a technology company, as it makes its revenue from multiple products and even asset classes. It has a tribe of customers that would die before switching to the competitor, and it prides itself on innovation, constantly improving lives with its newest products. The company itself is run exceptionally well, and the brand is one of the most recognizable and loved in all of the world. The PE ratio is 31.42. The current price for Apple is $184.92. Year to date, they're absolutely crushing it at 47.85%. And over the last 5 years, they've absolutely crushed it at 300%. The dividend yield here is 0.52%. Now, obviously, this one isn't a very sexy dividend stock with that 0.52% yield, but no matter which category this stock was going to fit into, I definitely was going to be including it if I'm talking about one stock that I'm going to pick forever. The next pick in this category is a stock that I absolutely believe in, and is actually the one that I've added the most to in my portfolio over the last year. It's the company involved the most heavily with the craze of 2023, which is ChatGPT and just anything involving AI, or artificial intelligence. This company is Microsoft, MSFT. It has a market cap of $2.58 trillion, a PE ratio of 37.57. The current price is $346.62. Over the last year, crushing it just as well at 44.68%. Over the last 5 years, it's up 245%. The dividend yield here is low as well at 0.78%. But the last 10 years have been solid dividend growth for Microsoft, which excites me as an investor to see share price rise and dividend growth rise at the same time. Microsoft obviously has much brand power in its most notable offerings, such as Microsoft Office and Windows. It also is making a huge push for gaming in the metaverse with the Activision Blizzard merge that should happen, but we'll see. There's 2 huge areas though that Microsoft has positioned itself incredibly well to pick up massive market share in the near future. Those 2 areas are cloud computing and AI, which are both set to become the way most things get done in the future. The CEO of Amazon noted in his recent letter to shareholders that about 90% of global IT spending is still on premises and yet to migrate to the cloud. With its Azure cloud computing platform growing even faster than Amazon Web Services, Microsoft stands to benefit from this trend. And as far as AI, we've all heard of ChatGPT, and Microsoft has already sunk a good $10 billion in as far as investing in the technology, and will be the leader in this category when it's all said and done. I can't say enough good about this company and what I think the future holds. Now, the final category on this list is that dividend stock, and we're talking the pure dividend stock where the whole idea to invest in this is cash flow and passive income forever. When deciding on and picking a stock within this category, you definitely want to pick one that's from a company that's very, very sustainable and is going to be around forever. The idea with dividend stocks is not so much to find the highest dividend yield for like a year or two. You want to find one that's going to be sustainable and probably try to keep growing each year forever. A couple companies that could have made it on this list would be McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, and Pfizer. The first dividend stock in this category that I'm going to pick is Pepsi. PEP. Now, I know a lot of people really like Coca-Cola, especially my friend Warren Buffett, but where we're at today and where I see the future, I think Pepsi's gonna edge out Coca-Cola by a little bit, but they are both great companies. In addition to its iconic beverage brand, PepsiCo has a snack food division that complements its acquisition of Frito-Lay many years ago. This gives the company the benefit of diversification. PepsiCo is also a dividend king with 51 consecutive years of dividend growth and a stock price that's increased over 71% in the past 5 years. The market cap for Pepsi is $256.31 billion. It has a PE ratio of 39.18. The current price for Pepsi is $186.04, and year to date it's up 3.7%. The dividend yield for Pepsi is 2.72%, and looking here we can see the past 10 years solid growth. Pepsi is a household name that owns many household brands and a very well-run company that knows how to use its money correctly, as there's only 48 total company stocks that are classified as dividend kings, and Pepsi is one of the strongest. My second pick in this category is going to be another dividend king. Remember that the goal here is to find one stock to buy and hold forever. You don't want to pick one stock that's going to be super hot right now, but in the next 5 years is just going to die off. So picking one that's not only had a dividend, but also increased its dividend every single year consistently for over 50 years is definitely the way to go. For this, I have to pick one of the most consistent companies on the planet with products that we use every single day. This company is Procter & Gamble, PG. P&G has raised its dividend every year for 66 years and owns brands such as Pampers, Gillette, Head & Shoulders, Pantene, Oral-B, Vicks, and Old Spice. P&G has a dividend yield of 2.52%, market cap of $352.46 billion. The PE ratio is 26.05, so it's one of the best price stocks of this whole list. The current price for this stock is $149.54. Year to date, it's actually down a bit at negative 1.34%, but over the last 5 years, it's up over 93%. So which of these 6 stocks is my number one pick? Well, it's tempting to go with the most exciting companies of today that are pretty heavily dominating the technology sector. If I can only choose one company's stock to buy and hold forever, I want something that does not rely on technology alone, so I have to cut out Tesla, Apple, and Microsoft. And while super safe and stable companies that are paying a nice dividend do make a lot of sense to be that number one pick, for me personally, I'm looking for a company that has a bit more upside as far as overall growth. So I'd have to scrap Pepsi and P&G, and my pick here would be Berkshire Hathaway. I'm very big on company leadership, competitive advantage, and multiple revenue sources. Because if one industry gets hit super hard because of the recession, you don't want all of your money coming from that one industry anyway. Now, I've heard some people that don't want to invest in Berkshire Hathaway because the genius behind it all, Warren Buffett, is getting older and he won't be around forever. Now, I've personally read and researched Buffett for hundreds of hours, and one thing he's even better at than investing is mentorship and finishing strong. He's been prepping his successors for over a decade at Berkshire, and even involves them recently in giving them portions of the business to run fully so that the transition will be seamless. I expect the Berkshire Hathaway stock to drop pretty heavily in the unfortunate event that Warren Buffett does pass away, but you better believe that I'll be buying heavily on that day. Make sure and watch this video now to help you progress on that path towards financial freedom. Professor G, out.